You ever notice how the people who post the most online seem the emptiest when you meet them in person? Meanwhile, the ones who never post, no selfies, no updates, no look at me stories, they're the ones you can't stop wondering about. It's almost unsettling, right? Like they know something the rest of us don't. You scroll through their profile, nothing. But somehow, that nothing says everything. It whispers mystery, confidence, maybe even danger. So, what does that silence really mean? Maybe it's not shyness, maybe it's strategy. Because in a world where everyone's screaming, "Look at me," the one who stays silent ends up being the only one worth looking at. We live in a time where people measure self-worth by pixels and likes. Post a photo, get dopamine, feel seen, repeat. It's the modern ritual of validation. But then there's that one person who just doesn't play the game. They scroll, observe, maybe even laugh, but never post. To most people, that seems weird. To psychologists, it's fascinating. Because when someone refuses to participate in the validation economy, it usually means one of two things. Either they're deeply insecure or they're deeply secure. Let's start with the first one, which is insecurity. Some people don't post because they're terrified of judgment. They think, what if I don't look good enough? Or what if no one cares? That anxiety eats at them, so they hide behind silence. But here's the twist. It's not just insecurity, it's awareness. They've seen how people online turn moments into performances. They've seen how everyone edits, filters, and rebrands themselves into something they're not, and they want no part of that circus. There's power in not being seen. When you don't constantly announce your life to strangers, you become unpredictable, unreadable. People can't form opinions about you because you've given them nothing to judge. Mystery used to be magnetic. Now it's rare. And when something becomes rare, it becomes valuable. That's why those who don't post stand out, ironically, by not trying to. Their silence online isn't emptiness, it's control. There's a quote I love. The less you reveal, the more people wonder. In a digital world obsessed with exposure, privacy isn't loneliness, it's luxury. Let's be honest, not posting is a rebellion against the fake smiles, against performative self-love, against the illusion that attention equals worth. Some people have simply seen through the act. They don't post because they don't need to prove they're living. They're too busy actually living. As someone said, why spend valuable time on people who aren't actually part of your life? That line hit me because it's true. Most people post for those who don't even care. Meanwhile, those who don't post, they've escaped that loop entirely. They've traded validation for peace, and peace doesn't photograph well. But let's not romanticize it too much. For some, silence hides pain. There are those who want to post, who crave connection but fear rejection. They overthink every angle, every flaw, every caption, and end up posting nothing. It's not that they don't care what people think, it's that they care too much. Their silence is armor. And you know what? That's okay too, because at least they're self-aware enough to admit that they're still healing. Not every quiet person is peaceful. Some are just trying to protect what's left of them. Then there's the final type, the observer. They watch, they analyze, they absorb. They're not participants. They're psychologists in disguise. They don't post photos because they're more interested in human behavior than human applause. They notice patterns. They see the performative nature of attention. And deep down, they know the moment you need to be seen to feel real, you've already lost yourself. Therefore, they stay quiet, not because they have nothing to show, but because they know that privacy is the new power. Now, you might be thinking, so am I mysterious or just insecure? That's the beauty of it. You decide, because silence can be both a shield and a strategy. Some use it to hide, others use it to build. The difference? Intent. According to psychologists, people who avoid posting photos often share one trait. They have a strong internal locus of control, meaning their sense of worth comes from within, not from hearts, comments, or followers. They don't seek visibility to feel alive. They don't measure happiness and engagement. They measure it in peace, progress, and privacy. In simpler terms, they're the ones who live offline what others fake online. So maybe next time you see someone without a profile picture, don't assume they're shy, insecure, or weird. Maybe they just realize that their face doesn't need to be online to prove that their life is real. Maybe they understand something the rest of us forgot, that peace is felt, not posted. There's a quote by Søren Kierkegaard that says, "The crowd is untruth." And that's exactly what this is about. In a crowd where everyone's shouting for attention, silence becomes the loudest voice in the room. So if you're one of those who don't post photos, don't worry. The world doesn't need to see you to feel your presence, because your invisibility doesn't mean absence, it means freedom. If this video made you think, maybe it's because deep down you already knew this truth. You just needed someone to say it out loud. Now it's your turn. Comment below which side you think you fall on, the unseen or the unbothered, because both, in their own way, are quietly powerful.